Ireland's parliament has passed historic legislation legalizing abortion in the Catholic country. Abortion is now legal up to 12 weeks. After that, it will be allowed in certain circumstances. The legislation comes after Irish voters agreed in May to change their constitution to allow abortion. Joining me now by Skype from Dublin, Ireland is Niamh Ui Bhriain, spokesperson for Life Institute, an organization that promotes the sanctity of human life and works to protect the family. Niamh, how is the pro-life community in Ireland reacting to these new abortion laws that are about to go into effect?
I think that most people listening to the programme, it will resonate with them when I say that when the Eighth Amendment was removed from the Constitution by referendum in the summer, there was a huge sense of heartbreak and sadness for the pro-life community because, we realise what we've lost. We lost something precious and powerful and beautiful. And a lot of that heartbreak, I think, was revisited this month, in the month of December, because we had this abortion bill, this very radical piece of abortion legislation going through our Dáil, our Parliament and our Senate, and is now going to be signed by the President right in the run-up to Christmas. And there's a particularly kind of poignant sadness about that because, we all know Christmas is about the birth of a very special child, the Christ child, and all of the beauty of that story, I think, and the meaning of that story. For us who normally celebrated with such meaning, it's a lot of heartbreak in it this year that we're going to look into a Christmas and into a new year where abortion is going to be legalised in Ireland for the first time.
You made reference to the May referendum that legalized abortion. It passed by 2/3. Why do you think there was so much overwhelming support for it in your view?
Well, you see, there wasn't so much overwhelming support for abortion, and that's an important distinction. The Eighth Amendment had been made into a total bogeyman, by the media in this country, and it was the media, absolutely 100%, who won the referendum. It wasn't campaign groups, it wasn't politicians. The media have been pushing to have the Eighth Amendment removed for almost as long as I've been alive, but certainly in the last 5 years with great intensity. And many people who voted yes are horrified, for example, to find out that this legislation will allow for late-term abortion. It refuses pain relief for babies who are aborted in late-term abortion. It doesn't give parents the right to be informed if their underage daughter is undergoing an abortion, and that it allows abortion in very broad circumstances. So a lot of yes voters, I think, are finding out what's in this bill and are horrified about what's in it.
So like you say, you've heard from voters who regret their yes vote. Tell us about a video circulating that seems to indicate that people didn't fully understand what they were voting for.
When Tim Jackson, who's a great pro-life champion here in Ireland and involved in a lot of new media, went out and did vox pops on the streets explaining to people exactly what was going to be in the bill, that was going to allow for abortion and disability, that there was no pain relief for babies in late-term abortion, and many, many very other cruel and radical elements of the bill, people were horrified. And you have yes voters in that video, which I think is headed for 750,000 views, which is very, very substantial for Ireland. And they're saying, if I'd known that, I would never have voted yes. And they're saying, I regret my yes vote. And I think we're going to see a lot of that.
As of January the 1st, abortions will be free for the public, paid for by tax dollars. Are there any conscience protections for doctors and Catholic hospitals who do not want to participate in the killing of human life?
Well, that's a key question, Wyatt, and the short answer is no, there are not. And doctors and nurses, and not just, very dedicated pro-life doctors and nurses, but doctors, nurses, midwives, pharmacists, all kind of healthcare workers right across the spectrum have been up in arms about this for months. Our health minister, Simon Harris, has simply refused to meet them. 650 doctors, which is a huge proportion of the number of general practitioners here in Ireland, asked for a meeting to try to get conscientious objection properly elaborated upon in the bill. Nurses and midwives in the same numbers. Even obstetricians have come forward and said that we're deeply unhappy with the lack of the right to a conscientious objection that's in this bill. And our health minister, just wouldn't listen to them and bullied this through. So that's, it's been a huge battle even since the referendum to get the voices of pro-life doctors and nurses heard, and it's going to be something we're going to be dealing with in the new year, I think, almost immediately.
Well, we will continue to follow this and see how everything plays out. However it does play out, I'm sure the faithful will continue to pray and advocate for pro-life causes. Niamh Ui Bhriain, spokesperson for Life Institute, thanks so much for your talking with us.
Thank you so much.